was working, and I got a phone call that my son was not breathing. And so, and it wasn't by her, it was by another provider or by the next door neighbor. She wasn't even there when my son had died. She got on the scene after 911 had gotten there, and they had asked her who she was. And she told them that she was the child care provider. I get there, and they told me, we've been working on your son for 25 minutes and he's not coming back. I remember the days that had led up to me finding her. I thought as a parent I had did everything right. I did not want to find a provider from like a grocery store wall, or talk to people at church or in the neighborhood about a daycare. I wanted to find one that was through the state license. So I thought I had did the right thing. I remember actually holding my son, sitting down at the computer. He was crying the whole time. And looking on the state website to try to find someone. And I remember calling her and setting up a time to meet with her. I met with this lady twice before I left my child with her. I asked for things. Are you insured? She said yes, she was insured. She was not insured. Come to find out after the investigation. I asked about CPR and first aid because at the time I was a certified nursing assistant. And so I knew about different licensing regulations when it came to caring for individuals, whether it was children or elderly or mentally ill. So I asked, did you have first aid and CPR for children, which is a totally separate kind of certification you need to have. Oh yes, I have all that. And she showed me the certificates. However, at the end of my son's investigation and his death, she never had those. Department of Early Care and Learning had conducted an investigation into my son's death. The provider had 24 hours to report my son's death, and she did not. It took a month until they could close her down. She didn't report the death, and it took me a month to find out that's who I was supposed to report the death to. And learning about various things that she was in violation of. I didn't know that at the time when I had signed up for daycare. I still feel it's not really the parent's job to have to be the inspector. These are the things that the state should have to do, particularly because she was getting federal subsidies, state monies to provide care for children, and so she had obligations as well. A criminal background check was done on her. However, a sexual offender registry was not done, a fingerprint was not done, a child abuse registry check was not done. Comprehensive background checks. It sounds awesome, but what does it mean? Sexual offender check. A parent should not have to be responsible to get online and look for these things. If the state is licensing these individuals, they should be checking these things. The child abuse registry, it needs to be checked because individuals that have been substantiated for child abuse should not be licensed to care for children. Fingerprinting, because a criminal record check is not it's not going to suffice. It's not enough. In my situation, I found my provider on the state website. I thought that she was a reputable individual. However, after my son died, I found out I probably would have been better off in finding someone from a grocery store or Walmart, on a wall, because all the things that were in her background were things that the state could have known if they just would have checked in the beginning.